Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is Dissection. I'm breaking down Manchester United's latest victory against Luton Town at Kenilworth Road on the weekend. Manchester United started again like house on fire. They took the early lead. Admittedly, a mistake from Luton Town defender Bell. Hojlund stands the mistake, the back pass. The second goal was also a smart finish by Hojlund in the box. Obviously, there was a little fortuitous because Garnacho's volley was going outside. And for the next 5 to 10 minutes, United were on the top. They were getting chances on the counter attack. They were getting spaces. But beyond that point, for the rest of the half, United were completely dominated, outmuscled, outworked, outplayed by Luton Town FC. Who's played 17th in the league, who's recently promoted. This is their first season after promotion, and they completely dominated Manchester United. They were playing all the football. United were waiting for breaks on the counter. But I mean, they couldn't compete. The likes of Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, who was abysmal, probably the worst player on the pitch. Obviously, he got substituted due to injury, I think, at before halftime. I would have subbed him off even without the injury. He was so trash. He was completely scared of Ogbene. Also Casemiro, who looks really off pace, and he gets a yellow card every. It's a given now that he gets a yellow card every match. He goes to the ground very easily. He cannot compete with the player physically. And seems too old for this league, and the pace at which Luton were playing, he was completely left stranded in midfield, and the contrast couldn't be more from the likes of Mainu, who looks so composed, and even for his young age, he looks so control of the game that he knows what to do. Obviously, thinking 2 3 steps ahead, and Casemiro is becoming a real worry. Luton Town didn't waste any time to respond. Even before the goal, they had good opportunity from Ogbene, who was tearing short to absolute shreds. And they got the goal from Morris. It was a mistake. I think Onana is to be blamed also partially, but Shaw was completely caught snoring at the back post. From there on, I think in the second half, after the changes, United looked more solid. They didn't concede too many chances. In total, United had the better chances in the second half, and the quality in the final third was absolutely atrocious from the likes of Garnacho, Bruno, who missed one-on-ones with the keeper, and even Hojlund missed a good chance, and Rashford. They all looked so devoid of any kind of quality and composure in front of the box, and it was really a terrible watch. And United were fortunate to come out of this with a victory, even though they had all the chances, but they were completely dominated by Luton Town FC. Coming to statistic, obviously they had 60% of the ball, 100 plus more passes than United. They had more shots in total. Obviously on target, United had more shots, and in terms of big chances, United had more, especially those one-on-ones. And in the second half, to be honest, after Johnny Evans and Scott McTominay came on in, even Sofian Amrabat looked decent. United were able to batten down the hatches. They didn't concede too many chances in the second half, and they should have won by even more goals easily, at least 2 or 3. This kind of football is just papering over the cracks. And if United can get past Fulham and Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, I think the true test of this team would be at the Etihad Stadium in the Manchester Derby early March. Coming to player ratings, Andre Onana was apart from that goal that United conceded, where you can say that he should have been faster off the blocks. But I thought he was decent. His handling in the box was good. That is something that has been really striking in the last couple of matches, especially since Wolves and West Ham and even Luton. They are physically dominant sides in the box. They're good with good delivery, and Onana has looked really assured with that. On the ball also, he gives that impetus from us to build from the back. So overall, a decent game from Onana. Diogo Dalot continues his good form. No, not many complaints with him. The only thing I'd say that he is not quick at stopping the crosses, because Doty was the main threat on the left hand side. Even against Aston Villa, Ramsey and Moreno dominated that flank. Something that he needs to correct with Garnacho, of course, and he needs to stamp that out and stop those crosses coming in early. And otherwise, I think in terms of one-on-one defending, he's improved. Attacking wise, he looks assured, and a decent game from Dalo. Rafael Varane also looked composed. It was quite striking to see the difference between him and Harry Maguire, who was completely scared of their pace, especially Ogbene and Morris, who's also very strong physically. But overall, I think Varane looked at ease and dealt with the danger quite emphatically. Obviously, on the ball, he's not the greatest, and that is something we need to improve upon in the long run, especially in the summer. But otherwise, a good game from Varane. Harry Maguire was he started off decent. I think in the air he dominated a few times before that yellow card mistake, and I think he was completely startled after that mishap, that yellow card he got, and he was completely rinsed by Ogbene on that front. I think he knows his limitation in terms of pace and mobility, and I think he was exposed on that occasion. After that, I think he lost confidence, and he was rightly hooked off at halftime. So not a good game for Maguire. Luke Shaw was atrocious. He looks unfit. This seems to be a new injury, separate from the last weekend injury. He just doesn't look like a footballer. He's overweight. He's ponderous. I don't think he takes care of his body, and he looks obese, to be honest. For his stature, his height, I think he's way too much. He's carrying too much weight, and that might be behind his constant and different kind of injuries that he gets. But atrocious performance from Luke Shaw. Casemiro looked out of his depth. I think he knows physically that he can compete, and that is befuddling his mind. Passing completely alright. He just not good at first time passes, and he keeps losing the ball. He and Bruno keeps having this contest of who can lose the ball more often and concede more chances to the opposition. He's a walking yellow card, and he's in danger of a red card every half, not just a match. And he was rightly hooked over halftime as well. And despairing performance from the experienced Casemiro. Kobe Mano, I think this was one of the stellar performances I've seen, especially in terms of the situation that we were in. We were completely dominated by the likes of Barkley as well as Lokonga, who looked really stellar. I think Meno held his own. Every touch he had, I was looking at him forensically. Every time he got the ball, he was thinking 2, 3 touches ahead, and he looked so different and at a different level altogether from any of the other Manchester United players. He looked so composed. He had so much time on his hand, and he was really good in tight spaces. Apart from Lokonga, who also looked decent, I thought he was the best. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. And every time he got the ball, you knew that he had that air of invincibility about him. He has that air of confidence, and long may it continue. Alejandro Garnacho, apart from his miss hit that led to the second goal, I don't think he looked composed. He didn't look confident. I think against the physical side, he looks desperate. He doesn't have physicality and pace to dominate like he has chances against other teams, more technical teams. Obviously, technically, he's deficient as well. His chance, I never had confidence that he would finish that. And even his goals recently have been all miss hits or deflected goals. He doesn't inspire any kind of confidence in terms of striking the ball. I don't think he has the greatest technique in the world. And apart from his tenacity, which is an asset, he doesn't offer too much quality in the final third. But I won't be too harsh. This game was awful, but I hope that he can bounce back against Fulham. Bruno Fernandes was captain absent. His every touch was a tackle. Every second pass was a turnover. He's a turnover machine. He plays against Manchester United, to be honest, most of the times. And even his one-on-one chances and the way he makes the runs, he knows that the defenders and even opposing midfielders will catch up to him, and he just looks so frazzled and so confused when he gets the ball. And his only impulse is to throw the ball away, just give it away. And he does that. He used to have good finishing ability, especially in his first 2 years, but he seems to have lost that confidence as well. All his shots are absolutely atrocious. All his shots look unconvincing. He doesn't look convinced that he can score, and another bad performance and another invisible performance from Bruno Fernandes. Marcus Rashford also looks devoid of confidence, devoid of quality. I don't understand that. He's been scoring few goals recently, but still his decision making in the final third. I think he's almost 26 now. I don't think he's going to improve. United should just look at cutting the ties in the summer and just start afresh with a new winger, proper technical player, somebody who's good at providing assists, not just scoring. And I think Rashford should just move on, even for his career. I don't think he gets any better for Rashford. It just doesn't look like he's going to improve. It seems like his speed has passed. I think for the last 2 or 3 seasons, technically he's gone downhill. Obviously, last season he scored a lot of goals, but technically and in terms of his output, in terms of decision making output, he's horrendous, and he's a painful watch, to be honest, right now. Rasmus Hojlund had a commanding performance. Even without the goals, he was dominating his physical battles. He was, linking up play. As a number 10, I think he looked impressive as well because most of the counter attacks was starting from him, and he was, linking up with wide players as well as midfielders, and bringing a lot of quality. And he was our only outlet, to be honest, because he was the one who was, causing all sorts of chaos for their defenders. The first goal was down to his pressure, obviously a mistake from Bell, but he was there to pounce on it and he finished it well. Second was a smart finish as well. Second goal off of his chest was quick reflexes. Johnny in the spot. He scored 2 goals in 2 matches just like that in the box. So that is something that he should be proud of. And I think this way he can easily add 10 to 15 goals more to his tally than he would get otherwise. So certainly an upward trend with him, and inshallah, long may it continue. The confidence, got the record for being the youngest player to score 6. I don't think these stats say a lot. Before him, it was Joe Willock, so that doesn't sound very inspiring anyway. But in isolation, he's doing great, and inshallah, long may it continue, and inshallah, he can carry this forward. Coming substitution, obviously, the first one was made in the first half. Victor Lindelof came on in for Luke Shaw. I thought defensively he looked so assured against the threat posed by Ogbene. I think he understood his move really well. He didn't give him any chance to go on the outside. Obviously, he's a right-footed player. That is something that he did well. Obviously, offensively, he doesn't offer much because he's right-footed. And we didn't create much on that side anyway. It was our right-hand side that was looking to attack more with the likes of Dalo and Garnacho. So good performance from Lindelof. I think apart from Menu and Rasmus Hojlund, I think Johnny Evans was top quality. These kind of matches where it's all about physical strength and winning your physical battles, he has really outshone other defenders in our team. I think his experience is something that has helped the midfield as well, and he looked so composed. He used all his experience, all the tricks of the trade that he's obviously learned over the years, and he looked the part in that defense. He brought a lot more composure by building from the back, a lot more composed on the ball, more patient than our other defenders with the ball. And I think he was a class act and a good performance from Johnny Evans. Scott McTominay also did well. Offensively, didn't offer much because we didn't have that much of the ball. Obviously, on the counter attack, he's a threat, but he was a wide player who were causing more damage in terms of one-on-one chances. He was employing a more sedated role. I thought he plugged the holes well. He was playing closer to Rashford, and I thought he did his job well. We didn't concede too many chances in the second half, so that was in part down to his substitution as well. So a good performance from McTominay. Sofian Amrabat came on in late. Obviously, we were closing the shop. We were trying to secure our 2-1 lead, and I thought defensively he did okay. He was there to clean up the mess, clear the ball a couple of times. He did well defensively in the box as well, because there were a couple of iffy situations where he could have given a foul or a penalty even, but he did well. I don't think he gets any rhythm from this kind of scattered opportunities. With Casemiro picking up yellow cards every match, I think he might be called upon sooner rather than later because of the accumulation of the yellow cards and the ban that comes with the accumulation of those cards. So he might be in action a lot sooner from the start. But a decent performance from him. It's another mixed bag from Eric Ten Hag. I thought he's set up well in terms of his game plan. The idea was to soak all the pressure and hit them on the counter attack. And for the first 10 minutes, it was going swimmingly well. But of course, the anathema for us is that we cannot keep the ball. Even after we have 2-goal leads, we cannot, shut the opponents out because we are not able to keep the ball and dictate play or dictate the rhythm of the match, all end to end, helter skelter with us playing hot potatoes with the ball. And that comes down to him. This is how he has decided to set up his team. And even after 18 to 20 months in the job, we haven't progressed as a team in terms of having a style of play that can be sustainable. And even against the likes of Wolves, West Ham, and Luton Town, who would otherwise counterattack other teams, we are the ones who are sitting and absorbing all the pressure, completely dominated in midfield. That criticism has to come down to the manager. The buck stops with him, and he's the one responsible for that. So I don't think this football is sustainable, and I don't think he's helping his chances in terms of keeping his or retaining his job after the summer reshuffle that we expect for Munoz. So a mixed bag for him. A victory is a victory. 3 points are 3 points, and these were much needed. Of course, Tottenham had a draw at home with Wolves, so we are only 3 points behind them, 5 points behind Aston Villa. Aston Villa have been really sketchy over the last month or so. I think Aston Villa and Tottenham play on 10th of March, but we have Manchester Derby before that. I think if we can get 3 points against Fulham, progress to the FA Cup fifth round against Nottingham Forest, and then get a draw in the derby, if not a victory, then I think we are in a shout for the top four, and I think we could even end up being favorites for that spot. But there are too many ifs. Till then, we are only edging past teams that we should dominate, especially after taking leads in the matches, 2 goal leads even, and it's more down to fortune than design that we are getting these wins, and they are papering over so many cracks in, especially in the midfield, especially so many players who are underperforming and so many players who are not up to scratch. They are not pulling their weight on the field, and it is something that we will suffer from. And I think the litmus test would be that derby, and for that we need to make sure that we pick all 3 points against Fulham at home and get that victory in the fifth round against Nottingham Forest away in the FA Cup. So good couple of weeks for us. Inshallah, we can keep this momentum and win against Fulham in the next match. Please join us for the Red Prep Show. If possible, we'll drop another episode of the Red Resurrection of the EAFC career mode. So until then, take care, do good, pray for Palestinians and all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.